Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Sophia Parola with Garden State Film Festival, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing these two wonderful, powerful women behind the making of Victim Number 6, the short film accepted into Garden State. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yes, snaps. Might be better on Zoom. Guys, I'm so excited. I have been looking forward to watching this movie ever since I saw Heather's beautiful photos on Instagram, and I was blown away. It was worth every minute I spent waiting because the film is awesome. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. Before we get started, I'd love for you both to introduce yourselves and the title in the film that you have. Let's start off with you, Nancy.
Well, my name is Nancy Menna. I wrote, directed, and produced this. So those are my titles. It's sort of woman of many hats.
Absolutely. And Heather?
Hi, I'm Heather Britton O'Scanlan. I am the lead actress in the film, and I also produced this with Nancy.
Amazing. And I would love for us, our viewers out there, to hear a little synopsis about what this short film is about.
So the film is set in 1975, and it basically is a woman goes out on the town while there's a serial killer on the loose. So, you know, it sort of is like the people she's encountering and sort of like what's going on in her night out and sort of shifting suspicions as to what may happen next.
Now, Nancy, my first question is for you. I mean, number one, why 1975? What was the inspiration for not only, you know, the setting and the time period, but just the whole script? Like, what was your inspiration for writing this film?
Well, it's a weird question. It's hard to answer because like people are always like, what, like serial killers, like this. It's so the idea of it actually started because Heather got in touch with me. She had just met up with Russ Rousseau, who plays Mark in the film, and they had had a discussion and they wanted to work together on something. And she wanted to know if I had anything sort of written that she could work on. So I didn't at the time, but, you know, after a brief brainstorm, you know, kind of coming up with just like what kind of relationships could exist between these, you know, a male and a female character. Like, you could be siblings, it could be love interests, it could be, you know, whatever. I kind of came upon this idea, and the fact that it's in the 70s, it sort of feels like a natural setting because it's not, you know, the topic is not exactly topical to today. Like, I'm not going out and I'm not fearful that I'm going to get serial murdered. You know, there are other things that I'm more concerned about, I would say. But in the 70s, like, this is when the height of serial killing actually occurred, which I didn't know that for a fact until, you know, you start doing research and you realize, okay, you know, it sort of was at its peak and from there kind of came down. So it just felt like the appropriate time to set this, and more, you know, so and also because it's so much fun in the 70s, you know, it sort of felt like, you know, both from a visual perspective, from a storytelling perspective. Who doesn't love a period piece? They're hard, but a lot of fun to work on as well. So kind of like all these different elements sort of made it feel like the proper fit for, you know, this piece.
Oh, that's so amazing.
I want to mention too about period pieces is no one's on their cell phone. Like, yes. You make a film present day, like technology is in every frame of the film, and it's kind of interesting to step back for a minute to a time when that wasn't, and we're actually interacting face to face. It's just another, and that wasn't necessarily any kind of inspiration for the film, but the last two films Nancy and I worked on, this was the 70s, the one before was the 60s. And it's just neat to step back into that separate time. You know, the hair and the makeup and the sets are all fun and all, but it's also just a shift, and takes you out of today. If it's done well, period pieces are tricky, but I think we did okay with this one.
No, I absolutely agree, and wonderfully said, Heather. I mean, I'm sure it's not only fun just to be writing a piece in this period, but to be acting in it. And then as the viewer to watch it, I mean, who doesn't love to see the colors and the vintage clothes and the way the bar and all the extras were? It was so fun. And that was one of the things I really loved about it. And Heather, you speak about, you know, the hair and the makeup. I mean, that's just a little part of your character, but tell me about Donna. Like, what attracted you to Donna in the first place without, you know, obviously we don't want to give anything away, but just about this character. What was the character development like? And when Nancy kind of came up with this idea,
Yeah.
only from like just the idea of two actors working together. That's amazing that you came up with this, but yeah, what attracted you to this character and what was a little bit of the development process?
Yeah. So Donna, look, she's smart. She's scrappy. She had a rough childhood, but she didn't let that stop her from achieving her goals. You know, she's like, she's a confident woman. She's got a great career, and she's figured out her path in life. She doesn't let people push her around. And that's strong. Like, I'm always looking for a strong female character. And she's sexy, and she had great hair. I'm sorry. She has the hair that I wished I had when I was in the 6th grade. I just couldn't figure that out, but it was amazing. But like, there were just a lot of layers to her, and it was just truly, as an actor, a treat to get to sink my teeth into that kind of work.
Oh, that's amazing. And Heather and Nancy, both of you were producers on this. I'd love to talk about like what it takes to produce a film, especially in this manner, when it came to all of the extras and the props and the whole look of it. What was like, how was pre-production, and especially this collaborative effort between the two of you? What was producing Victim Number 6 like?
Well, better part of a year, really, I want to say. Maybe 10 months of pre-production, right, Nance? 9, 10 months?
Yeah, we started in the summer and we worked through till like April. So altogether it was under a year, but we, like Heather's right, we gave ourselves like a lot of room so that we would be able to prepare everything well in advance, have our crew, you know what I mean? Just make sure that
We made our long to-do list. We made our budget. We kind of figured, and we had definite milestones and time frames within we wanted to reach those milestones, because it was overwhelming if you look at the whole thing and all the little details that had to go into it, and truly the amazing team that we pulled together to do this. There were a lot of pieces in this puzzle, a lot of moving parts. So we really wanted to give ourselves the time to do it right.
Yeah. And I feel like, having the time also to have conversations with like our key, production heads sort of thing, like James Bartel, who did the production design, like we met in advance, like, he totally redid my living room, by the way. Like Donna's apartment is actually my apartment. So he he saw all the locations in advance, and we had a lot of time to discuss like, what kind of colors we wanted to use so that we would be, sort of subliminally like making a commentary on Donna or her choices in life, and like with the costumes having open dialogue about like, well, this character, I remember with you, Heather, you had 2 outfit changes, like 2 significant ones, and they were actually switched. Originally she was supposed to be wearing one outfit in the bar, and it's like, in the dialogue I'm like, how are you feeling about this, because I'm thinking we should do a switch. And just making sure that you like have those open like lines of communication so that like you can properly convey these people in this universe, and that everybody's kind of on the same page, and also that creative visions are respected and it's working collaboratively. But yeah, Heather and I, we have a ClickUp account. We were constantly like pinging back and forth on like an everyday basis.
It was.
Yeah, so it was very involved.
Wow. And Nancy, you just mentioned a little, like a small snippet of some of that process where like, oh, this outfit would be better if it was switched. Was a lot of the film process as a whole, was a lot of it prep where you did most of it and then it was kind of easy and smooth sailing when it came to the film process? Or was it kind of developing as you guys filmed? Like the whole thing in the entirety, was it a smooth sailing kind of thing, or you kind of like developed as we were going with it?
Well, so I would say
both.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. Heather's right on that. Like there were definitely things we knew about in advance, we planned for, we checked out. So we had in place, the vision and those different things, but things come up, or, I think like, with casting, we had originally cast somebody for a certain role, came up, a few months in advance of the film. We knew that it was a possibility that they might have another engagement. But, for example, like that is something that came up, and you sort of, then you do your auditions and you find somebody who is perfect in their way. So certain things like that did happen, but I don't think that it took away from the final product. And I personally think that things fell into place as they should have. And it worked out for the best in my opinion. But But I will say that, and anybody who's been on a film shoot knows, like, it's never smooth sailing. It was like, it was unusually smooth sailing on set. Like, it was a little bit like, I didn't trust it. I was like,
Right. Why is
we
this
had,
going so well?
we had like a sound issue at one point. Somebody had arranged to do some construction or something like the day we were shooting, and it was not going to be good if it was, and we had a conversation, and they're like, oh, we'll come back next week. I was like, that's it? Like, it's not a whole problem. It was like, I was like, this is something's weird going on here, right? Like, it just doesn't happen. But, I would say that, you get a good team together and everybody's so professional and talented, it's hard to mess that up too much. So we were very lucky in that sense.
For sure.
And both of you ladies wear multiple hats. Nancy, obviously a lot, but Heather, what was it like to be producer and kind of step away from that and then get into Donna? Was that a process that was like kind of long and gruesome that you needed to get into, or was it an easy slip? What was it like to wear those two hats?
It's not the first time I've done it. And I start to get more comfortable with multitasking. Although when I'm on set, and this is something Nancy and I talked about, like, I don't want to deal with really production when I'm on set, not too much anyway. And Nancy was good about knowing that. And we were good about making sure that the team we had in place could do their jobs efficiently. So people weren't running to me or to Nancy to do things that were outside of what we should have been doing, while we were there. So I really, again, it comes back to the team you have in place and being able to delegate. I know what my limits are, and that when I'm on set, as an actor, that needs to be my primary focus, because you can't get those moments back. So yeah.
Absolutely. And Nancy, I mean, you successfully obviously went to writer, director, producer, all these hats, and you made it a success. Not only made this film, but you have it accepted into Garden State, and I'm sure it's going to have a beautiful run. It came out amazing. What are some advice you would give filmmakers who might be wearing multiple hats like you did?
I was just going to say, don't. No, it's a lot. It is a lot of work. But I think, like, the thing that I try to take with me is that, like, there's never harm in asking for something, right? So a lot of times I feel like I'm scared to reach out. Like, what if they say no? But what if they say yes? And I feel like this was a great project for me to sort of stretch that muscle a little bit of, like, asking for the things that I want, even if it may seem like a stretch, right? So, for example, like, we have a song at the end of the film, and I'm thinking, it's the Ides of March. It was a very popular song. I mean, you see it in commercials. So it's like, I had this song in my head. I'm like, this is the dream, to have this be the last song. And I'm thinking it's going to be crazy expensive, or they're not going to want to work with me. And I reached out, and it wasn't crazy expensive, and they did want to work with me, and it worked out. But if I had let this idea of something like, indie films don't have, but why not? And with, we got permission from Heineken to name their brand. We wanted to go above and beyond, make sure we got clearance. And it wasn't as crazy. The obstacle wasn't as big as I would have thought. So I feel like that was a big learning thing for me, of just, even in talking with the crew, because everybody went on a short film. We're all, putting in a lot of effort for something that's not a big money. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, everybody probably is on the same page knowing this. Like, they're not money makers. These are passion projects. So even in talking with crew, some of these were, colleagues of mine from NYU, and having a discussion with them of, these are what our limitations are. You'd be surprised what kindness and honesty and sort of open dialogue will do towards people wanting to be involved and wanting to help, because I think a lot of people get taken advantage of in this sort of universe of, you're here to work this job, and you could get somebody else, or, I think a lot of people are left unappreciated or feeling like their talents aren't valued. So I think particularly in these kinds of environments, it's important that you acknowledge the value of the work that people are doing and all of that sort of stuff, so that, it's a good experience for everybody. Because, if I could do it, I say this all the time, if I could do it myself, then I wouldn't need anybody else. But, I am who I am. I have my strengths and my weaknesses, and you need help with people, and I'm not always right. So It's important to be open with people. It's important to listen to people, ask for what you need, and you may receive it from the universe or the powers that be. They may smile upon you. So those are the things that I take away from, I think, from the experience.
Absolutely. I love that. So wonderfully said. Thank you for giving us like a personal example too, when it came to that song, because it really did. It was the song at the end, it added to it. It really, I mean, not that you really needed more, but just icing on top of the cake. Such wonderful, inspiring advice. I love talking to you guys. I really am so inspired as an artist. My last question, and one of the most important ones, is why Garden State Film Festival? Heather, I know we love you here. You are a veteran at Garden State, but I'd love just to hear from both of you what Garden State means to you, and what it means to have Victim Number 6 premiere at Garden State.
Well, as you know, I'm vice chair of the board of directors here at the festival. But regardless, it's always an honor and a privilege to have a film of mine screening at this festival. We are the premier festival in New Jersey. We are the largest festival in New Jersey. And I'm really, truly proud of the work we do to showcase independent film and the quality of films and filmmakers that we attract. It's stunning and inspiring every year. And it's a thrill to be a part of it. Anytime a film that I'm involved with is in the festival, it is not eligible for awards. So I always have to tell my directors, I'm so sorry it's not eligible for awards, but it's still a great festival. And it's true, like it's really not about the awards. We're just thrilled to showcase our work. And I'm always happy to bring my work home and have my friends and family come see it too. So that's a treat, truly.
It's so amazing, Heather.
Well, just to piggyback, I obviously there's the connection with Heather, but Garden State's just like a really fantastic festival. And like when you have a film, you go to a lot of festivals, and you sort of like mentally note like this one maybe, or this one did this well. But Garden State's it's an enjoyable, first of all, the films are great. They do always have, really excellent feature films, their opening night, everything, you know what I mean? They really plan it out. Lauren does a wonderful job. Lauren also worked on Victim Number 6. So there's a lot
I saw her in the back of one shot.
Yeah.
She's the script supervisor.
She stepped right in.
She
was secretly taking notes while she was back there. She's like, somebody's wearing a scarf incorrectly, but I'm not here. No, but so, you go to a lot of these and you know which ones are sort of the favorites. Nobody wants to have favorites, but Garden State's just like a very special. Plus Esbury Park, amazing. It's just such a lively community. There's so many like wonderful things in the area too. So it's like, you could just really enjoy your time when you go. And I'm sort of, New Jersey's like my second home. I've been splitting my time here since I was very young. So it's like special in my heart as well. So, I'm very excited about this year.
I am too. I'm so happy to hear you talk, and like the love and passion in your voices, and like you're right, the women who run the festival, I owe them so much, and Heather, you among them, and it's an amazing people who put it together, and then the filmmakers who come. It is so inspiring. I feel so honored to be able to watch these films and talk to you guys personally. I'm blown away. I love Garden State. I love your film. I love you guys. Let me tell everyone watching how we can see Victim Number 6, because it is so worth the watch and very inspirational. We have it premiering at the venue of the Asbury Lanes, Saturday, March 27th in the Film Block, 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. So really awesome. We have a hybrid this year. Not only will our virtual multipass users be able to watch this, but you can also come see it in person Saturday night. It's going to be a good night with some great films. Victim Number 6 among them. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Congratulations.
Pretty heavy stuff. I heard that by the time he's done with them, there's hardly anything left. No body parts, just bags of sludge. I've seen the pictures. It's hard to imagine a person could be capable of such a thing. You gotta have a strong constitution to go through with something that brutal. And who might you be?
Donna.
I've never seen him before. I think I would remember. Let's just talk.
You're not my type.
Well, maybe I could be. What's your type?